Hi, this is Ryan Reed, BNI Advantage, Episode 8, How to Build a Powerful Power Group. All right, let's jump right in there. Your weekly BNI meetings, that creates visibility. One-to-ones create credibility. Power groups not just create profitability, they create momentum for your chapter. So let's go into 8 steps that is going to give you momentum, which means ROI out of BNI. Step 1, define the power group. A power group is a group of businesses naturally connecting through referrals. You're selling to the same people. You have the same opportunities, the same trigger words, the same business ecosystem. As an example, a residential power group is going to have a residential realtor, a mortgage person, an HVAC person, a plumber, a landscaping person, a flooring person, personal insurance, a home inspector. There is really a list that could be probably 50. So that's just an example because there could be a whole heck of a lot of them. And we'd be sitting here all day talking about how many people can be in the power groups. Step 2, schedule your power group. I would recommend setting it up on the first week of every month, same time, same place. Set it all up on a reoccurring calendar like Google Calendar or Outlook. That way, everyone's getting reminders. Set up your reminder system to get a reminder out 5 days before and 1 day before the actual power group meets. The organizer will send out an email the day before going over the notes, the topic, and the location to meet at. Cancel only when there's major holidays. So if we're striving to set up a power group for the first week, you should only be really canceling probably maybe July 4th or the first of the year. That should be the only reason why you actually cancel. We'll go over that a little bit more in detail. A strong scheduling point is when you're scheduling once a month, you have 4 weeks. So now you could potentially have 4 different power groups meet in different weeks. We had 6. So obviously we had 2 power groups that would meet on the same week. What I've seen that works the best is scheduling a power group that meets directly after your weekly BNI meetings. This way everyone's there. They don't have to travel very far. I would recommend having it at a different location unless the location that you have your weekly meetings has a private room that you could meet where you would have fewer distractions. Be careful not to have it directly after a meeting. You want to give that time to be able to talk to guests and other members, so you don't want to start a power group directly after. At least 30 minutes later, if not an hour, would be the best to set it up. Having it at a different location just gives it a different feeling. You feel like you've left your BNI meeting and now you're in a totally different meeting at a totally different location, obviously. That has always worked the best for us. The business-to-business power group met twice a month, and it did it on the day after our normal BNI meeting. That way we could always advertise it at the meeting that tomorrow would be discussing X at our business-to-business power group. So that really helped that power group quite a bit. Morning power groups are really good, just like morning BNIs. Have a power group meet at 8 or 7 for coffee and just have the host have the coffee or tell everyone to bring their own coffee. Coffee is cheap, so when it comes to making coffee for 5 to 10 people, it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. You could always designate a Keurig and have everyone bring their own Keurig pod. Or you may have some people that want to sponsor it. And a lot of times if you have someone sponsoring, you could say, well, okay, you come up with the subject matter that we're going to be discussing, and you'll get an extra 2 minutes to go over it since you're going to be the sponsor. Early morning coffee appointments, power group scheduling works really well. The groups that schedule and they stay alive. The ones that are constantly canceling or not scheduling, those power groups slowly disappear. Step 3, create the right mindset. Mindset is so interesting because it's basically 2 different ways to look at the same event. When your meeting doesn't ever cancel, it has an importance. It gives the mindset that If I can't make it, it's my bad. I should have made it. But when the group starts canceling because the attendance is not big enough, that lowers the value of the meeting. It changes the mindset to not feel as important. It's not that big of a deal to miss the next meeting. It's less on you and more on the group now. The group's fault for not having enough good stuff to talk about. And there is always good stuff to talk about. Never cancel a power group because of attendance. If it's down to just 2 people, well, you're going to have a good one-to-one. That's what a one-to-one is, 2 people. Okay? Even when you have a small power group of 2 or 3 people, that's quality. The relationships are going to get deeper. You're going to get more referrals. Our residential power group, I've shown up and there was only one other member there. Then about 2 meetings later, just 2 meetings later, we decided to have our power group at a house that was under construction that was being built by the contractor in our group. We had close to 30 members plus some guests, like we had a home inspector who wasn't in our BNI chapter yet, show up to walk through. This was an incredible power group meeting, one of the best I've ever been at. This was literally 2 months after having a power group where only one other person showed. Don't cancel your power groups. Step 4, have a power group organizer. Every successful power group has someone driving the train. That person should be someone obviously in that sphere that you're forming. The organizer should also send out an email the night before to everyone explaining what the discussion for the power group will be the next day. Plus, it adds as another reminder that's coming directly from the organizer of the power group. Power group organizer gets the topics together, keep the structure, and they keep a timer. Of course, they don't have to be the timekeeper, but you need someone to do it. With 5 people, it's 5 minutes. Do a 4-minute timer, giving a minute for everyone to ask questions. Some members will actually like to ask questions of the group to get their insights, to get their knowledge, to form it more like a mastermind group so that they can learn. So I structure 5 minutes for the first section and 5 minutes for the second section per member. If you have more members, you're going to have to lower the time. By avoiding restaurants, you're avoiding side conversations, a lot of noise in the background. Look at catering. One of the things that we did in our financial power group is the person that came up with the subject matter, they were the host. And they actually paid for the lunch for everyone. If you do this in a rotation, where let's say you have 5 to 10 people that are just in the financial world, as this example is, then you're doing one a month. You're going to wind up hosting it 1 to 2 times. And when you think about 5 to 10 people, that's 2 to 3 pizzas. It's just not a really big financial investment. If it is a really tough financial investment, then you probably should be at that financial power group. Okay. All right. If you're hosting and you're paying for everyone's lunch or everyone's breakfast or everyone's coffee, then there should be something that is given back to you. I would recommend that you come up with the topic that's going to be discussed and that you get a couple of extra minutes to start off with to go over that topic and how it pertains to your business when you're going over this. Keep in mind the key topics are based off of what the power group is. Business to business is going to be talking about business. Financial is going to be talking about markets and how to save money, how to make money, how to invest money. Health and wellness is going to be centered around health and wellness, and so forth and so on. A power group without structure just becomes a luncheon, and ultimately you're not going to sustain a power group that meets for many years. Step 5 is running your power group like a group one-to-one. Closer you do it to a one-to-one, the better. You could even bring your gains report and each member goes over the gains report or fills out a new one. That gains report, goes over how long you've been in business. Do you have kids? Do you have pets? What your hobbies are? Those are really good, and each person can read it and go around if that's what you need to get started. It's not a bad idea. It's a good way to get going. But you've got to have structure. And there's two major parts of when you're forming a power group. Subject one is a workshop on you. Okay, thinking of this as a one-to-one. A workshop on you would be ways to get to know you. There's so many books like 7 Habits of Highly Successful People that you could do 1 habit per meeting. So 1 habit a month. That'd be 7 months. One that worked really good for our chapter, so good that we did it actually 2 times, was 21 Steps to Be a Self-Made Millionaire by Brian Tracy. Yeah, it's 21 steps, so it's 21 meetings. The organizer will send out step 1, which is dream big, and then would put a little snippet in like dreaming big. What is your biggest goal? What dream scares you? What holds you back to obtain your big goal? What are you chasing? If you were actually to get that big goal, what would it mean to you? And see, those are just great little ways to get the conversation started, to really get some good ideas out there so everyone can align and help each other. I mean, I can't think of a way to get someone to like, believe, and trust you better than help them get their goal. That's pretty cool. And that's what the very first point in Brian Tracy's 21 Steps to Be a Self-Made Millionaire is about. So you can just follow that. That would be the first section. Subject 2 is a referral workshop. It's working on your business in order to get more referrals. You could have a topic like, we're working on trigger words. We're working on what our bread and butter referral is. We're working on the dream referral, the golden egg. We're working on improving our commercials. When you can get the advice from a group that are selling in the same industry that you're selling to, you're going to learn more and you're going to improve more faster that way than you could ever on your own. And this was part of my problem. The first 10 years I was in BNI, we didn't have power groups. I knew about them and they sounded good, but we never really started them. Once we got the business and business power group going once a month, it was going so good, we decided to do it twice a month. And it's still doing that today, well over 15 years later. When you structure your power group into 2 sections, this is really when random networking becomes attentional networking. And that is going to give you ROI. Step 6, keep a timer and respect the time. One of the biggest things that a host needs to do is make sure you start on time and you end on time. You've got to be able to schedule this. This is very similar to one-to-ones. If you start late and you finish 3 hours, that is too long. You're not going to go to another power group or one-to-one at a later date because that one just took up the whole day. Even if it was the most valuable power group you've ever been to, you just cannot let it take over your schedule. If you know this power group meeting is going to be an hour, you schedule about 15 minutes before, 15 minutes hour. So you give yourself about an hour and a half of buffer time for that actual hour meeting. That's all you need. And that's what it should take. And at that point, if it goes over, that's where you just say, guys, I got to go. Only have this amount of scheduled time. I'll see you guys at the next power group, and get up and leave. There's nothing wrong with that. You got to respect the schedule. Second tip, have a timer. I want you to think about this. As you're talking and you think what you're saying is very important, which I'm sure it is, someone else is sitting there going like, I've got something to say and I'd like to say it. And I've got to wait until you finish talking. And if there's not a timer, there's no finish line. It's just, they could talk the rest of the time. And I never got the opportunity to say my point, which may be really valuable. It may not be, but I'm wanting to say something. Since I'm trying to figure out a way to get in to inject what I'm wanting to say, I'm no longer listening to what they're saying. I'm just waiting for a pause. So I know it's going to go 4 minutes. I can sit there for that and listen. And then that 1 minute that I get to ask questions, I could ask a question, or I could just wait till that 1 minute's over. And now it's my turn, or it's the next person, and then it will be my turn. So a timer is critical. It controls, it's polite. You're already doing it with your commercials every week. So it's not something new. It's something that's a part of BNI because it works. A timer also allows everyone time to teach, and they know what that allotted time is. So they're going to organize their thoughts to be faster, quicker, more brevity, and getting their point across quickly, especially if they've been in a power group meeting and they ran out of time. The member who gives the most value away are usually the members who gain the most business. Don't be scared of giving away advice on things you do. For instance, a business coach, you're talking about hiring and firing practices. So as a business coach, there's certain things that you teach on these subjects. Give a good sample. So therefore, they're going to want more. If you don't want to give away advice and people feel that, they'll actually start to think that you don't have that much advice to give. I know that sounds weird, but they think you have less when you give less. When you give more, they get a sample of what you teach. And when it's good, they're going to want more. And you have more to give anyways. The hardest sell is the first sell. So give people samples of what you're selling so they'll buy, so they'll get in. That's not the purpose of a power group, is to be selling. You're giving them free advice on things that you do as a sample to have them understand and learn as a power group. This is when you start to really get some ROI out of your BNI and boost your credibility dramatically. And as you're boosting your credibility, it is going to increase your profitability. Step groups increase retention. People are going to stay when they feel they're getting value. I cannot tell you over the years how many members say the reason why I've been in BNI so long is because of this power group. See, you're getting together and you're learning what not to do. You're also learning what to do. Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich. He interviewed 500 of the most wealthy people in the United States at the time, or in essence, the world, and took their theories on how to be rich and put them in a book. Well, to a certain degree, we're doing the same thing. Or guess what? You could actually go over Napoleon Hill's book in your power group meetings. You could go over the 13 points and discuss them. And now you're learning as a mastermind group. Think about this. Everyone has knowledge and something that they can teach from their perspective. A business owner is going to have a perspective from their business, and being an owner, being a new owner, being an old owner, being multiple business owners, they're all different. A salesperson is going to have their perspective from the sales side. New salesperson, old salesperson, what works, what doesn't work. An employee is going to have their perspective from an employee standpoint. A new employee, why are you working for them? How long have you been working? A long-term employee, why are you staying there? What do you like about it? Those are critical things to learn. Owners want to hear these things. So that's the reason why it's so invaluable to have this mastermind workshop, to go around the room and what's working for you personally and what's working for you business. Those are the two sections that you want to accomplish in a one-to-one. And you definitely want to accomplish them when you're putting a power group together. Step 8 is grow your power group. And there's lots of ways to grow, and there's lots of things I mean by this. One of them is bringing a visitor to a power group meeting instead of to an actual BNI meeting. is a lot of times a great way to get them introduced. First of all, if that person would be in that power group, they're going to see value right off the bat because everyone's selling to the same basic person or business. That's powerful. They're going to really realize that, and they're going to see the value of the referral partners there in the room. Second of all, it's a little less intimidating. You're not standing up in front of the entire group saying what a good referral would be for you. This is where you're kind of learning it by coming one or two times. And I would suggest one or two times at the most. If they're going to come twice, then they need to come to an actual BNI meeting and they need to look at actually joining. But coming once or even twice is a huge way to get more people, not just in your BNI, but in your power group, which is your sales spear, which is going to give you more ROI. Power groups will make members feel more connected. They'll grow your relationships, your friendships, your knowledge of each other. And everyone knows as you're growing that, it makes you want to stay in. It really puts much more commitment there. You're meeting, you're helping, you're seeing success. It is creating that army of goodwill that's out there preaching good about you because you're helping them. And the power group meeting is all structured about helping each other. Just like a one-to-one, you're not trying to sell your product. You're trying to hear the other people and get to know them and understand them. So remember, your BNI meeting creates visibility. Your one-to-ones create credibility. Power groups will create the momentum to make you have profits. Profitability side comes from really the power groups and getting to know your members better so you can refer them more and you can learn as a mastermind group to get better results. This is Ryan Reed. I see you next time on BNI Advantage. All right, let's go form a power group. Let's do this.